Because the times.
Woke up this morning thinking about
Those summer days.
best friend got caught up when I stayed in Douglasville. I'm doing something I felt by myself. Mama caused me drama and I wanted to leave a better blue.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I just want to say thank you again for all of the Eminem videos I make. Y'all all really do support it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that with a passion. We got another one for you. Slim Shady, Eminem's alter ego, explained. He changed my life. I was in a suicidal point in my life. Listening to his music changed me. It gave me a different perspective. It gave me an outlet where I could let how I felt about my mom. I didn't really feel how he felt, Slim Shady, like killing his mom. I just felt anger because my mom did certain things, you know. She wasn't the best mother. My father wasn't the best father. But over the years, I grew to appreciate my parents because parents dying out here. I'm going to be quite honest with y'all. If my mom wasn't here, I would not know where to go. To be honest with you, I'd be stuck. I feel sad. So I appreciate my mom now. But when I was younger, I used to listen to his music, play GTA, play Minecraft, play Skyrim, Fallout 4, 3, fucking Las Vegas, something like that. Hitman. Halo Reach. I love Halo Reach and Halo 3 and Halo 4. Injustice in all the Uncharted games. And yeah, let's get into the video. Y'all be sure to like and subscribe. Shout out to my boy. Yeah.
Is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up with the link in the description will get 1 month of free access to thousands of courses. Eminem is an artist that has followed along with many of us over the last 2 decades. He was an icon in the late 90s to mid 2000s and still has his name dominantly out there. No matter what you think of Eminem, you can't stray away from his thought-provoking lyricism, whether it'll be at the club, on the radio, or in your Spotify rotation. Even if you're not a fan of his newer projects, you can appreciate some great tracks off his first few albums. Apart from his thought-provoking lyricism spouts the idea of Slim Shady, the bleached hair, explosive attitude, evil alter ego of Eminem. Although we've heard from him here and there throughout his career, I wanted to know who is the real Slim Shady, where did he come from, and how did he become one of the most famous alter egos in hip-hop? The origin of Slim Shady started with Detroit rapper Proof, who was Eminem's close friend and rap battle mentor. In 1995, he started the group D12, which stood for both Detroit 12 and Dirty Dozen. The idea was to have a roster of all-star rappers, but in a free-floating group, essentially the Detroit version of Wu-Tang. The issue at the time is that D12 was only comprised of 6 members: Eminem, Proof, Bizarre, Mr. Porter, Kaniva, and Swifty McVeigh. In order to achieve that 12, Proof decided that everyone should have a doppelganger identity. He said the whole thing in D12 was to have a personality where you can just say anything. You just don't care. Your persona is like a mask to hide behind. Eminem was the last one to come up with that mask, but it proved to be worth the wait. In 1997, while sitting on the toilet, he invented the nihilistic Slim Shady identity. He took Slim Shady and ran with it, Proof said. He took it way more serious than all of us. Which is why through the release of Infinite, his debut album in 1996, we couldn't hear a solidified persona yet. There was a lack of characterization, likely playing a big part of the album being such a commercial failure. With Infinite, Eminem and his team couldn't even get the project on shelves, so they resorted to giving away copies to generate buzz for future projects. But they didn't give up there. Eminem went through a series of life-changing events that made him mature. He said it himself, the way that he began to rap was more hostile. The less that he cared about what his listeners would think, the larger of an audience he would attract. Although Proof said that Eminem came up with Slim Shady on the toilet, the original idea of Slim was taken from co-producer Kevin Wilder's credit off of Infinite. The reason that the Slim Shady EP was such a hit success for Eminem was because it was real. A rapper's persona holds closely to their autobiography. Jay-Z speaks further on this in Decoded. The rapper's character is essentially a conceit, a first-person literary creation. The core of that character has to match the core of the rapper himself. And whether it's a movie, television show, or whatever the best characters get inside us, we start to see ourselves in them. In a crazy way, we become them. In order to understand Slim Shady, we need to take a step back, another step back, and see that he's a part of a trio. Marshall Mathers writes under the persona of Eminem, who taps into the idea of Slim Shady in some of his lyrical work. Or in other words, Marshall Mathers raps as Eminem, who raps as Slim Shady. Professor Adam Bradley explained this narrative form as a comparison to dramatic monologue. We initially find the word persona originating from the Greek word meaning mask. Dramatic monologues are poems speaking by a character through a persona. We see examples of this in poetry, especially through Robert Browning's poems such as My Last Duchess, which displays first-person poetic narratives that illustrate the speaker's descent into madness. When speaking in their poetic voice, they use the element of impersonation to the point of exaggeration, which is distinctly what you hear when Eminem raps as Slim Shady, the erratic, nasally flow that tags along with the terrorizing and brash lyrics. By using this technique, Eminem is able to broaden his expressive range for his rhymes, letting him explore new territory that he may not say in his own voice, big obstacle. Which leads us to finding his voice in the first Slim Shady EP.
That shit ill,
the Slim Shady EP is the first project that was done under the name Eminem. This EP meant a lot to his career. It was the debut of the real Eminem, before he got signed to a label. This 10-track project sparked the interest of both Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, co-founder of Interscope Records. He really started touching on how he felt deep down, with drug abuse, sexual acts, mental instability, and over-the-top violence. The beginning of the tape gives us the only introduction that we need, a skit where Marshall Mathers and Slim Shady argue about getting Marshall to look in the mirror to see that they're inseparable. By the end of the song, they've come together as one entity, the new Eminem. This success formula was further proved after a rap battle. Interscope employees who were there sent this tape to company CEO Jimmy Iovine. After showing it to Dr. Dre, he said, "In my entire career in the music industry, I've never found anything from a demo tape or CD. When Jimmy played this, I said, find him now." Like stated before, Eminem spoke about his real life, but in his poetic voice, leading to exaggeration, but it still held very close to his autobiography. Eminem and his wife Kim lived in a high-crime neighborhood with his daughter Haley. Their home was broken into many times and they eventually got evicted. In the song Just the Two of Us, Bonnie and Clyde off the EP, he paints the picture of running off with his daughter, plotting to dispose of Kim's body, which is later depicted as the cover in the Slim Shady LP, which would also host this track and 2 others from the EP. We're brought to more of a formal introduction with My Name Is, where the solidified character and complexion make his real debut. This was Eminem, or Slim Shady's, formal introduction to shock the world, like a slap in the face for what is to come for American youth. This album served as a great introduction, as it touched on all the subjects in the first EP, but in a more commercialized manner. It had its own highs like Guilty Conscious, dark corners like Bonnie and Clyde, and rather depressive points in Rock Bottom, which was written when he overdosed on pills in 1997. The same goes with Brain Damage, talking about how he was terrorized by older kids to the point of almost losing his life. The Marshall Mathers LP continued the idea of Slim Shady stronger than ever. There was a lot of pressure against Eminem and the anticipation of creating a fresh project that would be as successful as the first. The Way I Am specifically looks at this idea, the media with all eyes on him, looking at his personal life, and people blaming the faults of their own country on artists like Eminem. It shows the idea of losing old struggles only to discover new ones that come with wealth and fame. He would later prove himself wrong when he stated, "I won't be able to top what my name is." When Jimmy Iovine, head of Interscope Records, walked in the room, he said that he loved the original record. He said that it was going to be huge, but he stated that it needed a bigger single to jump across all audiences. And that's what it was all about, especially with the accompanying music video. The real Slim Shady sold double the amount of copies, going 4 times platinum in the US. There are a ton of Slim Shadys in the video, which represents the relatability of being an outcast. He even states at the end, "I guess there's a Slim Shady in all of us." Even later in the album, he came back with the prequel to Bonnie and Clyde, with Kim, making the Marshall Mathers LP the perfect successor, especially since it sold 1.76 million copies in the first week. Slim Shady began to follow Eminem throughout his career on many tracks, being heard by millions. He once again played his part throughout the Eminem Show, specifically Dissected in White America, where he looks at the influence of Slim Shady and critiques the nation as a whole. He says that he'd never would have dreamed of that many people sharing the same beliefs as him.
The funniest shit he did on his album was Cannabis. I said, what the fuck? Cannabis. I was like, bruh. No, another favorite song of mine is Drug Belt. That shit was good.
He now has people literally bleaching their hair to look like him, proving that being himself and developing a persona from Infinite to the Slim Shady EP was all that he had to do. And without me, he's recognized that he's created a monster that everyone fell in love with. Shady's back. Slim Shady creates controversy. He's an unstoppable force that shakes things up in the industry. Nobody is safe from the terrorizing path of him. He walks us through this path through the 3 unforgettable verses within the track.
Kaylee.
Like I said, Eminem changed my life, saved my life. Encore, okay.
In the album Encore, track 1 to 18 is the main show. On the 12th song, Eminem returns Paul's call. He hints that he has a great idea for the ending, while the closing skit, Final Thought, contemplates coming back out to the stage, which leads to the final track, Encore and Curtains Down. The track goes on about how he's not leaving and he's still on top. There's still no better duo than Dre and Eminem. As he leaves the stage, you can hear Slim Shady walking in. He says, "Oh shit, I almost forgot," cocks a gun and starts shooting the audience. Lastly, he's shooting himself, where he ends with "See you in hell." In this skit, he ends Slim Shady for good. He later stated at the time that he wasn't sure about his career in the future, but he still wanted to be involved in the music industry. At the time, for many of the listeners, as far as they knew, this would have been the end of Eminem and Slim Shady. But only a year after, the hits came out, with hit singles and 4 new tracks, including When I'm Gone. In the song, he attempts to kill Shady one last time, due to the relapse of just taking one more pill. In the music video, he flashes out of this dream and finds himself with his family. But after the hits, we wouldn't hear new music from him. He announced a drug-related hiatus, and we didn't hear from him until 2009. The absence ended with Relapse, and didn't waste any time introducing us back into Shady. Once again in a dreamlike state, Eminem's therapist turns into his first name, telling him to pop those pills and become that monster.
I'm sorry.
When Shady says "darling," he foreshadows track 21 off the deluxe, where he once again is visited by Shady. But between these tracks, there's a clear infection of him throughout the album. In Darling, before Slim Shady even clocks in, we can hear him subtly approach in the background, with the revving chainsaw at the beginning of the track. The chorus is referring to his addiction. If pills can't have him, then nobody can. The second verse begins to tease the idea of Slim Shady. When becoming him, the record sales follow, but so do the issues with addiction, not being there for his daughters and essentially ruining his life. This is what he means by selling his soul, giving up everything in his life to get his career back. What makes this track different is that we slowly learn that no matter what, Slim Shady is inside of him. After many attempts of killing him, we realize there's no getting away from this persona. He's become inseparable ever since he picked up that record deal that changed his life. He lost Proof, his wife, and barely knows if his kids love him, just for the fame, house, and cars that come along with everything he wished for. He sold his soul to drugs and alcohol in order to make it through touring and recording his discography. That was the price of fame, sacrificing being a father to tour and abusing drugs and alcohol. The song ends with "No one's gonna love you like I do" as a chainsaw revs up once again. What was once a free-roaming ego now not only controls Eminem, but Marshall as well. He no longer taps into the Shady ego, he's out of control. The next dominant track with Slim Shady comes with Acceptance, off Evil Twin in the Marshall Mathers LP2. with his evil twin obviously being Slim Shady. He begins with saying the line is getting blurry. They're so similar that they can be considered as twins.
Remember when that Marshall Mathers EP2, LP2 came out, you know Kendrick Lamar Pimp the Butterfly sound? It was on that one song, and it was like so fucking crazy. It was like, sucker for love, you a sucker for dick. When I get in the manic club, then the homie walked in, then the dun and I said, oh! I haven't heard that. Just recently I heard that shit again. I was like, oh my god. I like that version of K-Dot or Kendrick. I'm back. Get back to the video.
This is the beat onto his evil twin in each verse. To the listener, there's a clear difference between the arrogant wordplay as you can see here. But within Eminem, it all seems the same. There's a literal flipping point where he can't hold on to the anger, where he evolves into Slim Shady. This is the first time in his career where he admits that they are one of the same. The line has never been so blurred.
Drama reason. Pretty much. Pretty little Padawan. Jedi in training. Castlevania. That shit crazy, bro. I don't care what no one say.
This was the last time Slim Shady was seen as a separate ego. But he's still ever most present in his most recent album, Music to Be Murdered By. Quite subtly in tracks like Little Engine and I Will. In When I'm Gone, Eminem states Slim Shady made me, and this couldn't be more true. It brought definition, character to him as an artist, hence the success that came along with the Slim Shady EP. What was once a channel to filter out his real voice became much bigger than Eminem, or even Marshall himself. Speaking quite literally, Eminem has been sober for 13 years now. He's learned how to use that voice afterwards without doing the drugs that started it all. The ego hasn't really gone anywhere. It's become him, but hasn't devoured him. He understood that his demons will never go away, but now he has full control of it. And whether you like to believe it or not, I guess there's a Slim Shady in all of us. Now I want to hear from you guys. What is your favorite Slim Shady track? Also, let me know your favorite Eminem project and why you think it impacted his career.
It didn't impact his career, nigga. It impacted my career. It impacted my life. Slim Shady LP. The first one. I listened to that whole thing from start to finish. When I was working at Popeyes, I feel like 70 hours or so a week. I was working a lot of fucking hours a week. I was working from like 7 all the way to like late at night. I was just working. Like 9 hours an hour. No, $9 an hour. I wasn't getting paid that well. No, it went up to 10. So if you work damn near GM level amount of hours, it's a franchise. They cut your fucking paycheck. They used to cut my paycheck. Work shit ton of hours and cut my paycheck. Last 2 paychecks I never fucking got. And I used to listen to that song, that whole album, to help me. I was sad. I was alone. Got a long-term relationship. And yeah. Eminem really did. His music helped me deal with stuff. My emotions. Helped me write my emotions down on paper. That's why I'm proud to say I got shit tons of journals back there. All these papers got writings on them, if you don't see. All these papers got writings on them. These papers, they got writings on them. You know what I'm saying? They all got writings on them if you can't see it. Like, I'm gonna bring it closer to y'all. Like, can y'all see that? All these papers got somewhat writing on it. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, these papers got writings on it. There's a whole binder right here of it. And this is some of my older stuff, but still, I got newer stuff that I'm working on right here. I have to keep going to there. Got this newer stuff right here I'm writing on, but he got me into writing a lot deeper in my feelings. So I just want to say thank you, Eminem. Thank you, Marshall Mathers. Thank you, all the old school rappers from D12, that group. I fuck with them. He's listening. I mean, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shot. Everyone here. That's not from D12 was featured on there. That was on Encore, but I'm just saying. But yeah. That being said, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Y'all tell me y'all favorite album. How did Eminem change y'all lives? And in the comments below. And stay tuned to the next video. Peace.
Sorry, yo, the